Hey folks, Doug Blake with Body Design University. In this video, a brief review on one of the topics in chapter 3, which is the psychology of exercise. And this is called social influences on exercise. And in particular, it's not that it's necessarily confusing, but since there are four types of social support, the question that I get quite often is, how do I memorize this? And so I don't think it's difficult. The concepts are difficult to know and understand, and that's why I wanted to go over the video in this video. But what we do want to do is kind of make it easy to deal with the examples in table 3.2, and that's really what I'd like to do. But first, just keep in mind that under this subheading, social influences on exercise, the types of social support falls has its own sort of subheading. So types of support, and then you'll notice on page 70, 71, and 72, a little bit onto 73, you've got the four designations or the four types of support that NASM wants you to know. Then on page 73, the next subheading will be group influences on exercise. But here's the best way to do this. My recommendation is just, well, it's very similar to anything you do in the NASM textbook. First and foremost is look on the sidebar. And when I mean the sidebar, I'm talking about on the sides of each of the pages. And you'll notice that the sidebar on page 70, it says instrumental support. So one of the best things to do is to simply try to memorize the definition of these four components or types of support. That's a initial strategy, is just try to memorize it. And when you're memorizing, so I can say it, oh, just memorize, but memorization is not always that easy, is it? And this is one of the keys to what we do with Body Design University's exam study support course that we offer. And it's a question of what is your learning style and what is the best way for your brain to deal with the materials that you're trying to put into your short, mid, long-term memory. I've done a number of videos on this idea of what's the best way, easiest way to memorize. There's no easy way to memorize. There are easier ways and more challenging ways based on the way your brain works to absorb information, as well as the type of information. And so, in general, we use this concept called read, write, recite. And this works generally for most people, not for everybody. But in general, this concept of reading something, right? You're accessing information and then rewriting it. And then if you have this audiological component to your learning style, everybody does to a certain extent, you can say it out loud. So as a for instance, let me grab a pen. What I would do really simply is I look at table 3.2 and I would say types of support and I would rewrite what I'm going to read down here, right? So what I'm going to do is take my pen, I'm going to grab a piece of paper, types of support, and I'm actually going to do it exactly the way I see it in the table. So types of support, and I write down um, instrumental, and I literally write instrumental. Remember, I know what a lot of you are doing. You're using this, I hate to say modern, but it's the lazy way of studying, which is you think you're studying by simply reading something. Reading is not studying. Please understand that. Unless you are I forgot what the actual statistic is, 0.01% of the population that has what they used to call a photographic memory, the ability to read something, turn your head and memorize it for the next 10 years of your life or whatever, like literally knowing the page and the paragraph. Most people don't have that. So in order to memorize something, reading is not an effective way to do that. Very little of what you read is actually retained, even in just your working memory, which is what we used to call short-term memory. I guess technically now it's called working memory. But working memory only lasts for so long, and you want to get this stuff into your midterm, longer term memory storage capacity in your brain. So we read it and then we rewrite it. And then again, if I wanted to, I could then say, as I'm rewriting it, instrumental. I'm literally saying it out loud. And then I would write. And by the way, I'm on page 71 in the exam. Providing transportation to a fitness facility. See, I'm writing it out. Paying for someone's gym membership, watching children to allow a parent to exercise. That's the concept. Let me give you a little hack here when it comes to dealing with, um, like bullet points or lists. Crush it down to one or two words. So, in other words, instrumental type of support, instrumental, I'd write that. And then an example, I say providing transportation to a fitness facility. Do I have to write all six of those words? And the answer is no. Providing transportation to a fitness facility. For me, I would say just the word transport would summarize that bullet point, right? So basically, you're trying to deal with what would be called kind of the least common denominator of meaning, right? And what I'm doing is I'm taking six words: providing transportation to a fitness facility. That's a sentence, and that's great. But I don't want to memorize six words because now I got to memorize six more in the next bullet point. So what you do is you try and crush down the sentence into one or two words that still maintain roughly enough of the meaning of the original sentence, right? But yet do it in one or two words. So if I was to say transport, instrumental, one type or an example of instrumental support, transport, and that's what I would write down. I would know when I go to reread my notes, transport or transportation. I already know, I mean, I've read it, provide transportation. I only need to say the word transportation for it to trigger the memory of that. And that's what you're trying to do. Be honest with you, over the decades that I've been doing this and teaching this to people, and not just in memorizing fitness and exercise information, any type of information, that really works very well. The less words you have to memorize within a concept, the easier it is to memorize. Um, what type of support? Instrumental support, transport or transportation. It's a good example of it, right? Driving somebody to the fitness facility. Paying for someone's gym membership. You try it. Paying. I don't need to say gym membership or for someone's gym membership. I'm actually doing something. Instrumental, transport, paying, pay for. Watching children to allow a parent to exercise. Watch kids, right? That's the idea. And you do that throughout and I go over this all the time on any of the videos that are related to study and study strategies. It's the same thing. Always think about how you can compress, squeeze down the number of words that are being given to you in a definition or a concept. How can you squeeze and crush that down into one or two words, as few as possible, right? Um, Again, it's this concept of the least common number of words that are needed to provide the same understanding of the concept. Okay, so that's your study strategy, kind of with this types of social support. Four types of support. Go to your sidebars. They've given you the definitions. Page 70, instrumental support. Page 71 on that sidebar, emotional support. And then they give you empathy. All right, empathy is good, but informational support and then companionship support. So there are your four types of support and your definitions. You could also read it in the paragraphs themselves. Instrumental describes the actual actions of a person. So somebody actually doing something. Good enough. That's a good definition. Emotional, considered very important to start and continue. It refers to the encouragement, positive reinforcement that is provided. Get it? So and that's what you would write. Anything that encourages, verbal encouragement, positive reinforcement. Now you can go up and look at the examples. Encouraging someone to exercise. Me, if I write that down as I'm trying to memorize it, emotionals, I would write encouragement. The next one, providing positive feedback. That's three words. I could probably get away with positive feedback. Okay, so 3 to 2 words. Listening to someone when they are frustrated with exercise. So listening, being empathetic. Okay, not just hearing somebody. Well, there's the fourth one, being empathetic by communicating and understanding of how someone feels. That's the emotional stuff. I should think that would be pretty straightforward. There's your emotional support. Informational and companionship are going to be very similar. Informational is when someone receives accurate information about a behavior or topic. Okay. Accurate information. So I go back and I'm going to write down give sound advice. Right. That's 3 words, but 3, 6, 9, 11 words down to 3 words. A lot easier to memorize. Providing education about the current. Okay. I don't need any of that. Provide education. That's what you would memorize. On a test, when you see something that has the word education or which of the following would indicate or which types of support encourages or speaks to providing education, right? As soon as you see the word education, you know that it's going to be informational. And then companionship, exercising with, it's companion, right? Being together with somebody. So exercising with someone, accompanying someone during an exercise session, right? Be with someone, accompanying someone, finding physically active options for social gatherings, things. Okay. So that's how you would memorize those 4. Read through that. Again, this was just a sort of a review of that area in chapter 3. You will get asked a number of questions. Remember, chapter 3 is a moderate priority chapter on the NASM exam, depending on which exam you get. Um, and so it's always a good idea to make sure that in chapter 3, right, or moderate priority chapters, you are studying it enough, but not going overboard on the studying. And again, Body Design University has the actual course where the actual videos that we do in there can help you to understand exactly what you need to know in chapter 3, just as a for instance, but we do it for every chapter in the textbook as well. I hope this was helpful. If it was, and this made sense, maybe just a quick review for you, maybe it opened your eyes up about how to memorize this. And if that's the case, well, both types, please type the word understand in the comment section. Let us know if it is helpful. And if you want to engage in more topics related to this material or any other material in the textbook, you just let us know in that comment section. We're more than happy to help. Please make sure, if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel. And of course, give us a like if that's what you want to do, of course, and share it. Let others know, especially those folks that you work out with, or you're training, or are looking to get certified. Share this with them, this video, to kind of give them a helpful understanding of exactly what we do here at Body Design University to help you pass your NASM exam. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.